Cable Car Company says the Hobart public support the cable car. But then Reen Heading's more likely to become Speaker than you can believe. A word the Cable Car Company says. The Cable Car Company says they'll take the kids free up to the top of the mountain.
We're doing it,
Well, I've got some news. The mountain's always been free. The kids have been enjoying it forever. And I was one of them. I've loved the mountain since I was little. To have this wonderland, this thumb of the southwest sticking itself into the pie of our city, always seemed to be a miracle. I've walked all over it, camped in snow caves as a kid, and I climbed the zigzag most weeks. I've watched the snow swirl round the columns of the organ pipes, and I've walked on into the wonder. I made a book with Peter Dombrovskis and Jamie Kirkpatrick about the mountain. And I asked Peter, the greatest wilderness photographer in Australia's history, a man who lived on the very mountain at his fern tree home, why he thought the mountain was so important. Peter told me it was because it was where all the people could come and know wildness. Peter died just as the book was going to print. A service was held for him at the Springs. It was a terrible day. Heavy showers, wind, cold. And the emotion of the many people who came and gathered was extraordinary. This great man who showed us our world of Tasmania and took it to the world was coming home in his death to the wild mountain. Standing there that day, we felt the profound power of our mountain, the spirit of this place. It was our place. And what I had learnt is that this mountain, our mountain, Kunanyi, is a deeply spiritual place for so many Tasmanians. We heard Heather talk earlier. The Palawa fought a brave and terrible war for their land. Their love of this island, the sense of the very real spiritual power of this island, seeped into the souls of the invaders until they too were changed. They in turn began standing up, fighting for this island also, rather than against it. And so, this mountain is our home, Palawa and Tasmanian. Our home, our place, our mountain. We find ourselves presented with the proposal to slash the face of the mountain with the flick knife of greed in the form of a cable car, ascending over, of all things, the organ pipes, destroying that great jewel of the mountain, the 6 cables like 6 slash marks across the Mona Lisa's face with a grotesque great tower at the pipe's apex, and passing overhead one airborne Greyhound bus after another, every 5 minutes. And what serenity, what peace, and where the wonder for the people below. Why, if the cable car is such a good thing, are there so many secrets around what the cable car will be? Why has the state government, as the developers admitted last week, sought to stifle public discussion and debate. So many secrets, so many questions. What secret subsidies has our government promised the developers? What informal approvals? And I would ask, how is it that the chair of the Board of Tourism Tasmania, James Cretton, can also be the largest preference shareholder in the Mount Wellington Cable Car Company? He has bought, through his company, Two Grey Proprietary Limited, 250,000 shares for $312,500. Tourism Tasmania is a statutory board member of the Mount Wellington Trust, which is the body that manages Mount Wellington. How can it be that the Mount Wellington Trust Board never saw a conflict of interest with the Tourism Tasmania representative, whose ultimate boss is James Cretton, taking part in decisions to allow the very same cable car company to conduct preliminary excavations on the mountain? According to respected economist John Lawrence, the cable car company is, and I quote, a typical start-up company struggling to organise the necessary permits and plans, including the use of public land, which may then produce a windfall gain to the few shareholders who have taken a punt and made contributions. Did the Mount Wellington Trust ask questions of Tourism Tasmania's representative? And if it did not, why not? Did the Tourism Tasmania representative table the fact of Mr. Cretton's considerable stake and the possibility of him profiting substantially from the cable car to the trust? And if they did not, why not? Now, I'm not suggesting impropriety on the part of Mr. Cretton, but it appears to be a conflict of interest for him, for Tourism Tasmania, for the Mount Wellington Trust and for the government. Mr. Cretton should either sell his shares immediately or he should resign as chair. And if he does neither, I call on Premier Hodgman to sack him. Because no matter how much the government say it is not an issue, it is an issue. It is wrong. Imagine the scandal if the French government allowed quad bikes to rumble through Paris's Louvre Museum because cruise boat tourists found it more convenient to ride quad bikes than to walk. And because, as it happened, the quad bike company was part owned by a board member of the Louvre. If Mr. Hodgman continues to argue, as he has, that Mr. Cretton's stake in the cable car is irrelevant, how can his government be seen to have any integrity continuing to back the cable car? There is only one justification for this project, and that's tourism. And yet everywhere we look in Tasmania, we see tourism today too often not supporting our way of life, but destroying it. It profits a few, but who does it benefit? A tsunami of money is washing over us, and much of it threatens to wash away with it the very thing that makes this island precious to us, and for those who wish to visit. And that is the fundamental issue that is at stake here. We Tasmanians have a way of life, that is deeply and profoundly precious to us. Yet everywhere we see it under attack. We see our city threatened by high-rise hotels. We see our shack life being lost to $100 million golf resorts and palliative care units. We see our national parks being prostituted and their global significance being hollowed out. And we even see Tasmanians living in tents while speculators make money out of housing tourists. We see our soul being sold out for a mess of pottage, and there is no end to the shame and sadness that we are asked to endure in order to have more and more and more tourists. And you have to ask, why is this government more interested in building a cable car for tourists than in building homes for the homeless? We need tourism, but in today's world the challenge is no longer in attracting more tourists. It is in keeping their numbers in manageable bounds, offering high quality experiences at premium prices. We need tourism, but we need tourists on our own terms. And if there are too many tourist buses going to the top of Mount Wellington, restrict bus numbers. It's not hard. And you know what? Tourists will value our island more for the respect we grant it and ourselves. The cable car battle is the moment when Tasmanians can say enough is enough. Tourism should serve us, not we serve tourism. Infrastructure on the mountain that respects our values. Not a cable car, but upgrade walking tracks and bike tracks.
Yes.
Disband the discredited Mount Wellington Trust and make Kunanyi a national park. It's time. And let's link Kunanyi National Park up with the World Heritage Area. Build tracks from here to Port Davey to the Sticks and build them as the great walks they would be. And what that would be is development for the mutual good and betterment of all. The alternative is to handing the mountain over to a company that, as Heather told us, registered the word Kunanyi as a web domain name for their cable car project. What gave them the right to take a Palawa word and seek to exploit it for their own commercial gain? They didn't ask the people whose word it is, the Palawa people, whose language it is, whose mountain it has been for 40,000 years, if they could make commercial use of it. They just took it. And that's what they want to do with the mountain. Take it, and make money out of it. But it's not a greed mountain. It's not a money mountain. It's not a government mountain. It's the people's mountain. It's our mountain, Kunanyi, and we will fight to save it. And the fight won't be easy, and the fight will be long. But we have been down this track before, and we have learned that if we persist long enough, hard enough, the truth will surface, and the truth will show that we, the people, were the true guardians of our island's soul. And we will win, I promise you. Our home, our place, our mountain. We will fight for the wonder, our wonder, and we will fight, and we will fight, and we will fight, and we will not stop until we win. Thank you.
I want to know why we don't elect people like him to our parliament.